are San Jose.
Siamo San Jose.
We are San Jose.
We are San Jose.
We are San Jose.
We are San Jose.
Welcome to We Are San Jose. These are your stories.
Hello, my name is Sylvia Carroll, and I've always been kind of a political junkie, fighting for the underdog, I believe. Now, back in the 60s, San Jose was still a pretty conservative place. So it may be a surprise for many to know that in the 60s there was an organization that had people following police cars on weekend nights to make sure the police didn't rough up the minority people who they stopped. Now, this may sound strange, but we're still dealing with situations like this today, 50 years later. But what I wanted to tell you about was Bob Lindsay. He ran for city council in 1965. That's not unusual, except that he was an avowed Marxist. And in those Cold War days, this was not a popular thing. People didn't want to sign his ads because it would be scary. But I wasn't scared because I believed in what he believed in, which was low-income housing, no discrimination against races, and public ownership of utilities. These are all things we're concerned with even today. So times haven't changed so much. Now, he didn't get elected, I will add. One of the things that did happen was that we got a publicly owned transportation system. In the old days, we had a private company called City Lines, and they didn't give very good service. I think one indication of it was that there were buses that said on the bus, 17th and Rosa. And since I lived on 17th Street briefly, I went to look for Rosa, but there wasn't any Rosa Street. Its name has been changed, I believe, to Heading years earlier, but the bus company had never even changed the signs on their buses. I think that's an indication of what was happening. Another little incident was when the Mercury News built their new building, and they still had a lease on their old building on West Santa Clara Street downtown. And they really wanted somebody to take over their lease because, well, who would want to pay a lease on a building you're not using? And a man named Sam Dellamaggiore, who'd been a county supervisor for many, many years, 16, I believe, wanted the Mercury News' endorsement. And the best way to get it, he figured, was to have the county lease that building out from under the Mercury News, and then he was sure to get their endorsement. They were asking for it to be a building for the welfare department, but they had to get funds from the state, and the state person came down to San Jose and said that the press room was not an appropriate location for a welfare department office. And it was presented at a Board of Supervisors meeting. I'd heard about this, so I decided to go to the meeting, and Mr. Dellamaggiore was very, very angry, and he kept saying, "The state is rigging this against us," and he was so angry. And I walked up and I said, the more I hear this, the more I think it's being rigged the other way. He blew up. He got very angry. He said, "And who are you, young lady?" Because I was very young then. And I told him, and he just was angry as could be. So I sat down, and 2 days later I got a phone call from the head of the welfare department who said, "Is this the lady who talked at the Board of Supervisors meeting?" And I thought, oh my gosh, they're out to get me now. And he said, "Thank you for saying what everybody else has been afraid to say. But it's true. The Mercury News wants to get rid of that building, and the best way would be to have the county take it over, and then Dellamaggiore would get endorsed." Well, the publicity that got enabled some other people to offer buildings, and while the Mercury News building did not ever get taken over by the county, at least the price came down, and the other buildings that were offered were much cheaper, and finally the whole affair was over, and that was that. And we don't have Sam Dellamaggiore anymore, nor many other people now. I think to have somebody in office for 16 years as a supervisor is a mighty long time. And while these are long time ago things, 50 years ago, there's still things we're concerned about today. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.